Welcome to Marketing That Converts. My name's Karima and I'm coming to you from a not very pleasant so-called summer Australian day where it's a bit mucky outside. It's raining a little bit on and off, but it's not hot, which is absolutely wonderful. But as soon as this rain happens, it's going to become humid again. What are we doing today? Today we are going to look at all the numbers that happen behind the scenes on Meta ads. Last week we went and had a look at DIY, setting up for lead generation. And that's great. That's the first part of what you do. You set up, you get an ad running, ads running, I should say. And that's part of your Facebook ad funnel or your Meta ad funnel, which is the ads set up in Ads Manager, various types of optimizations. If you want to see what that looks like, then go into the YouTube channel and have a look at the playlist about Meta ads and review that. Then that's the ads. People will look at those ads, hopefully, and then they will do something once they look at that ad. So there's looking at the ads when it comes up in their news feed. That's the first part of it, and then you want them to do something. So hopefully you've made it very obvious to them what it is you want them to do, whether that's go and fill out a form or whether that's go across to a landing page. And a landing page can be either a page on your website, it can be the home page of your website, or it can be a landing page somewhere else in maybe some landing page software, such as, Unbounce or Lead Pages or there's a mountain of different places we do landing pages in nowadays. So they go across to there, then they do something. When they get there, they either view the content or they create, or they buy something, or they sign up for your service, or they give you their email. There's lots and lots and lots of options when we get to that level. The thing with Facebook is that it's Meta, I should say, is that there's lots of decision trees that happen. So when you're setting up ads on Meta, you'll come to a point and it'll say, so what do you want to do now? And you're given a whole stack of decisions and you need to make a decision, and then that decision takes you to another decision tree when you make another decision and another decision and another decision. So they are really, really very, very complicated, very much more complicated than Google Ads, which is why I love them. So what I was trying to do before, when my computer had a massive whammy, was, and fingers crossed that I can actually share screen this time. That one, share. Doesn't seem to want to share. Problem I'm having. That is not what I want to share. Stop screen. Share screen. Don't show these tips again. I want to show this one. Right, now we might be cooking. Hey, now we're cooking with gas. So last week we had a look at setting up the various campaigns, and I did start to mention a lot of the numbers, and that's probably a little bit too high. Let's go back down a couple of bits. So within, let's say we've got these campaigns set up. We were playing around with a new sales campaign, a leads campaign, which goes to a lead form, a traffic campaign, and an awareness campaign. So let's look at the awareness. And just to refresh your memory, this was the conversion objective we were going for. These were the ad sets we had actually set up. And let's just look at one of those. It's still all in draft because obviously I didn't go live with this. Now the thing about the numbers is this section is what I wanted to show you. Facebook has, and this is the back end of a real live Facebook Ads Manager account. It is a dummy account, so there's not a lot of data in here, but it's to show you some stuff without showing you all the things that I can't really show you under NDA. So Facebook will give you a lot of defaults. Performance is the default one. Set up, delivery, engagement, video, blah, 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 blah. As you can see, there's a lot. The Facebook ad buyers have their own metrics that they really want to look at. And those metrics will vary depending on whether we're talking about a lead generation campaign or an e-commerce campaign or any variables of the above. So what we tend to do is we tend to go into customized columns, which you can see here. And this shows you pretty well every sort of custom metric you might want to choose. And it allows you to toggle them on, toggle them off. So which ones am I using? And it also gives you some create custom metrics, which, to be honest, I've never played with, and could be fun to play with one day. So what is my sort of standard? I want to see results. I want to see reach. I often want to see frequency, impressions, delivery. Yes and no. If it's brand spanking new and I think there might be some issues with it setting up and getting running, I might leave delivery on. Amount spent, I want to see. I'll come back to these ones in a second. Attribution setting, I never want to see. Quality ranking, engagement ranking, conversion ranking, I'm not interested in those. Facebook add them in and most of us go, why? Cost per result, I want to see. CPM, cost per 1,000 impressions, I want to see. Page engagements. Now, if I'm running a campaign where I really want to boost engagement on the page, as distinct from the post, which is what's been created in the ad. So the ad creates a post, but you can also view the metrics of what's happening on the page. So out of that ad, what is happening on the page behind the scenes that's connected to that ad. So if I'm really trying to drive likers to a page, and obviously I want to drive the right likers to the page, not vanity metrics, then I might want to be tracking page engagement, page likes. But more often than not, I want to be tracking post comments, I don't never track post engagement. I sometimes do reactions, saves and shares, depending on what I'm doing. I have done and still am doing quite a lot of Australian or particularly New South Wales government work. And like it or not, they are absolutely besotted by the fact that they want to know how many people react to the post, to the ad, to the post of the ad, and how many people save that ad and how many people share that ad. Yeah, well, they want it, they get it. I very rarely look at it. Then do I want cost per page engagement, cost per page like? So these are the numbers. How many people put a comment on a post? This is how many people, what it cost for each of those. So those reactions, how many it costs for each of those reactions, how many it costs for each of those likes, the actual physical dollar cost. And that will pick up the dollar cost in whatever you've set the back end of the account to be. If I was running a messenger ad, then I would be selecting some of the messenger. How many new messenger connections were there? How many blocked? How many messenger conversations starting? So you don't select all of these. Trust me, you can do it. It's really fun. Do it one day. Select all of these and then download it. You'll download it to an Excel file and literally your top of your head will blow off, because mine blows off and I'm really good on numbers. Cost, again, cost. So everything sort of tends to do a number and a cost. So you'll often put the number here and then the cost, because we can move all these around. I'll do that in a second. So then, am I running videos? How much am I? What sort of videos am I running, and how many people are looking at through plays, which is the number of times your video was played to completion, or for at least 15 seconds. I love these little hints that come up. How many people played the video to 25% of it, 50% of it, 75, 95, 100% of it? How many, 3-second video plays were? Again, I very rarely use that, but I have an agency I do some work for, and he wants to know that number. So that's fine, he gets that number. Instant experience, if you were running an instant experience, which is a type of ad, not going to go into that today because it's a section all on its own. What are the view times, view percentages, impression reach? So what are all these numbers about? These numbers are about us getting granular on the results for the ads. How many link clicks were there? And then we come down to unique versus, so link clicks is just the number of clicks on links within the ad that led to an advertiser specified destination on or off Meta. Now, link clicks can be a very, what's the word, a very broad thing. It's and non-specific. So you'll get people who will accidentally click on something, on the link or on an image, and they're not really clicking it for a reason we want to know about, which is they're potentially going to buy or they're potentially going to sign up to your service. So I don't tend to use and how many times might they click? You know, you're scrolling. If you use your mobile, you never know what's going to come up here. If you use your mobile, you know, you'll have people that are on Facebook. Can you see that? Not really. You'll have people that are on Facebook and like they're doing this. And I don't know how many times I've done this and I've accidentally clicked on something. Unique link clicks, the number of centered accounts that performed a link click, and the metric is estimated. Outbound clicks, the number of clicks on links that take people off Meta. So that's going to be important to me if I want to look at how many people I'm driving across to a landing page. Now, a lot of these metrics will overlap. So, and we deliberately do want them to overlap because sometimes Facebook's metrics can be quite freaky or nutty at times because they'll go through periods on the back end of Meta where the data will be all wrong. It'll be really bizarre. So it's really good to have 2 or 3 ways to measure the same metric, because then you can have all 3 are giving you about the same answer, then great, you're on the right track. If one's giving you a really low answer and the other's giving you a really high answer, then probably the answer is somewhere in the middle. But it's quite weird, and that's just the normal way Facebook goes about it. We know when they're doing massive changes to the back end of the ads manager and to the way ads are measured and delivered, because all our metrics and all our platform just goes all over the place. So as you can see, there's sort of millions of them. So just for the sake of link click-through rate, unique clicks is all anywhere on the ad, can be on the creative, can be on the copy, can be on the link, as distinct from the link click. I tend to only want to know who's clicking on the link. Unique outbound. So let's just choose a few of these. I don't want that one. So I want cost. Obviously, if I've chosen outbound out here or unique, click unique, then I want the same. I want the same down here because I want to compare like with like. I never use estimated ad recall lift. I never use either of those. I never do. So then particularly if I'm doing e-commerce, I want to know the ads of payment information. I want to know the value of that, and I want to know the cost of that. I want to know adds to cart, value and cost. Now remember I said before that it's a Facebook funnel. So the first part of the ad is they're seeing the ad up in their news feed, and then the next section is, and I'll show you when I get to that, the next section here is impressions. So I'll get rid of that. I'll get rid of a bid strategy. I don't want results. I want above impressions. So what I tend to do is I tend to then organize these into, I don't want cost percent, I don't amount spent, I don't want ends, I don't want schedule, frequency is important, I don't want comments, reactions, post save. So every time I'm clicking something off over here, it's going to be taking it off over there. So what I tend to do then is make these columns select so that when I'm running my eye through the columns on the back end of Facebook, I can track the funnel, and I can see where, you know, we got 1,000 impressions, but out of that 1,000 impressions, how many people landed on the landing page? Have I got landing page selected? No, I haven't. So I want landing page. I want landing page views, and I want cost of landing page views. And that's going to add it down the bottom here. Impressions, frequency. And you tend to play around with this order depending on how much you know, so not how much, but what it is you're looking to really look at any one point in time. So I'll tend to put impressions, landing page, cost per landing page, and then I'll do all the add to carts. So the next one would be landing page. So they end across onto the landing page. Then did they add it to cart? Now, add to cart implies that it's just e-commerce, but it can be set up to be not just e-commerce. It can be set up to be a click on a booking link, for say that is an ad. That is effectively an add to cart. So it's a call to action rather than just an add to cart. We take off the funny little website ones. So and then there would be out of payment information, out of payment information, and then there's conversion values. So take that off again. So we're doing, go back down in this section. So we want add to cart. So it goes landing page, add to cart, out of payment, so checkout initiated. So landing page, add to cart, checkout initiated, what value, what cost. Actually, I don't want value on that. I want cost. And then I want out of payment information. So think about the process when they're on an e-commerce store. They're getting there. They're looking at the product. We can't do view product, unfortunately. We can if we set it up as a proper custom metric. They're adding to cart. They're initiating checkout. They're adding their payment information. They're purchasing. So they're the sort of major ones. But I can't really tell you which ones to do on here because it really depends on what you're doing. And I always want to know ROAS. And I want to know purchases and cost. And then the rest are all weird and wonderful. Budget remaining sometimes. There's a million things you can do here. So play around with all the things here, and then you want to save it as a preset. So I haven't gone through all the actions of playing with this, and I always call it, I have this one that's called results. And I've already got a result, so I'm going to call it results 2. And I'm going to apply, and now it's come up here in results. So now I can see by clicking on this. So if I click on this, this is something different, and I can always go back to what is that list of things I've put. And now when I'm reading the results, I'm reading what I want to see, not all the really stupid things like like Facebook say in the engagement, the video engagement and all that. I know what I want to look at. So I can, if an ad was running, so let's take me across. I'll take you across to an ad account. This is one of my businesses, so I'm quite happy with showing you the information. It is on account error because I've blown the budget and I haven't reset it deliberately. So let's take something that's running. This one had decent metrics on it. I know that's a instant experience ad. Let's take this one. So, and again, a really good way, because look at this. You're going to be confronted. This has only been running since December the 1st, and I've been doing a lot of testing on it. So you want, your brain can just get so confused by all this. So it's a really good idea. I only want to look at this one. So these ones are obviously technically still active, although they've got an account error on it. The ad's been turned off because they've reached the account spending limit, and I do that deliberately because I don't want to forget about it and have a bill for $10,000, coming at me, and which is always a really good idea. Just in case your account also gets hacked, it's a really good idea. So if you want to look at something just in particular and you want to just look at just that one, just tick it, go up to filter by selection, and now it's got rid of all the other stuff. Now let's say I want to look at it. This was between, and I know this ran from December to today. So let's update it for all the stuff. So, and I want to go to results. So this is one that I set up. This is a Shopify store. So the idea was to get traffic, and I was using, this looks like a traffic video views. I was using a US plus Canada audience. that I had defined, and I was testing video 1, 2, and 3. So then I come to looking at it and saying, okay, so what are the results? Firstly, it's a $15 daily budget. Attribution was default. Within that period, December 1st to January 20th, 933 people theoretically went across to the landing page. Now, that's the number Facebook gives me. I don't trust any number Facebook ever gives me. So on this particular Shopify site, I also had, on the site itself, I had a bit of software called Hotjar running. As I said before, I like to verify the numbers coming off Facebook Meta in at least 2 ways. The third way when a Shopify site is also to look at page session visits on the Shopify analytics backend. And we'll go into more on that on another day. So according to Facebook, during that time period, and that's going to change. So let's change to just here. Watch that 933. Update 558. So you manipulate, this is the hard thing about Meta as well, you manipulate the data depending on time span and depending on metric. And this is at the campaign level. So 933 went to the landing page. That's a reach of 9,602. And reach being, what's throwing me is this ad center accounts. This is a new verbiage they've put on here. Reach is different from impressions, which may include this. These are the number of, I don't know what this ad center accounts business is all about. The number of people who saw your ads at least once. So 9,600, according to this, 9,602 people saw that ad, that one campaign. I don't know how many ads. Within that campaign are 3 ads. So saw that campaign 9,602 times. One of the ads within that campaign, there's 3 of them. That's 16,510 impressions, and impressions are different from reach. Impressions are the number of times your ad was on a screen. So what we're aiming to do is firstly get eyeballs. You can't do anything. You can't get conversions, you can't get landing page views, you can't get ads to cart, you can't get any effect unless you've got eyeballs. So that is our first trick with meta ads, getting people to have the ad in their newsfeed. Doesn't mean they've actually seen it, but it's in their newsfeed to be seen. So the reach is the number of people who saw the ads. So 16,510 was the number of times the ads were in the newsfeed. 9,602 were the number of times the ad was seen in the newsfeed. Right. Now, out of that 9,602, 933 people clicked on an ad link and successfully loaded the destination web page. In this case, it was a web page because I was directing them across to the home page of Pet Care Magic. And of course, you've got to have the Metapixel installed, obviously, to be able to track that. So the Metapixel's got to be on the back end of the either the e-commerce side or the landing pages or the website, whether it's in WordPress, whether it's in Squarespace, whether that's in Square, whether that's in Wix, Weebly, or Shopify, or a mountain of other places. We can also put them on landing pages as well. And so that 933, every one of those people, it cost me 16 cents per 933. And the cost per result is going to be the same because I'd set the result in this. I'd set the objective in this for landing on the landing page. How much did that, within that period, 1st of December to January 20th, how much did that cost me for that campaign alone? $151.81. What was the cost per click? So the average cost for each click was 11 cents. 11 cents is pretty good. And what was the click-through rate, or the percentage of times people saw your ad and performed a click? So that's 8.04%, which is pretty high. If we're getting 2 or 3% there, we're usually pretty happy with it. So what that's also telling me, when I'm looking at this as an analyst, that my ad was out there in the news feed between December 1st to January 20, so we can probably work out what that is in numbers of days. I'm just quickly going to my calculator. So that's what, December 1st, that's 31 days in December, 20 days in January, that's 51. So what was I trying to do? 51. So it's 51 days. $51 days. 16,510, 16. And now you're going to watch me go down the rabbit hole. I always go down when I'm playing with these sorts of numbers, divided by 51 days. That's like 323 per day. It's not bad. Probably would like it higher. What you've got to remember is the results you're going to get here are dependent on the budget. So remember, I had a budget of only $15 a day, and I'm pretty positive this is a horrendously large audience size. Yeah, estimated audience size, 170 million to 200 million. It's very, very broad. So in perfect honesty, am I going to get much of a result for what did I say, $15 a day in an audience that can be between 170 million to 200 million? It's just not a lot of money. And Facebook rewards a budget that is commensurate with the numbers of people that's got to go around. Now, if I'd have had an audience of, say, 17 million to 20 million and that budget, I would have got a whole lot more impressions and I would have got a whole lot more reach. And I may have got a whole lot more landing page views, not necessarily. I saw a campaign the other day where it was rebuilt on the 1st of January for much less budget per day, and it improved the results out of sight. Like the ROASs before, up until Christmas Day. Was it Christmas Day? Yeah, it was just after Christmas Day when we started to shut off a lot of stuff that had been running over the year. Or not, it wasn't me, it was the ad agency that was doing it, and I'd said to them, get rid of all this stuff and let's restart the whole account. And they were lucky to get a ROAS of like 1.3, 1.2, maybe 2 on an occasional ad set. Resetting the account and reducing the budget. The budget had previously been running was something like $325 a day across a number of different ad sets. The budget had been dramatically, been halved. It was about halved down to about 150. And the results were just so much better. That's one of the weird things that we see at times to time on Facebook or Meta, because what we see now is it's not a direct correlation. The more you spend, the more results you get. There's like a sweet spot, and you've got to find that sweet spot. And I don't exactly know how you find that sweet spot other than by testing, and you'll know it when you see it. So cost per landing page, cost per result, amount spent, click-through rate, all, a cost per click, pretty good, 11 cents per click. That's 11 cents for a click. That's really good. That's not a lot of money. The click-through rate, 8.04, that's a really good result. The cost per 1,000 impressions, this is one of the CPM, love it or hate it, this is like one of the benchmarks that we often compare results with. You know, an ad agency will say, I got, very low CPMs. You do want low CPMs. If your CPM is starting to increase, then there's something going wrong with your account. In this one, I wanted to know post comments. Now, that's the comments that are happening on that ad, and the engagement's happening on that ad, not on the page, but on the ad. Purely because it was a brand new account, it was a brand new website, and I wanted to find out what was happening on that, on the copy I was using and the headlines I was using. And it's a good way to find out post comments, they're positive or negative. So it's a really good way when you go into the post comments, it's a really good way to find out if what you're doing is really getting up the nose of people. Or conversely, if what you're doing is really resonating. Unfortunately, with this campaign, what I was doing was a bit clicky in that they were cute and they were warm and they were fuzzy because they were dogs and cats being cute, warm and fuzzy. And I wasn't really getting results I was wanting. So unique link clicks, that's pretty good. Unique outbound clicks. So what I always do is I'm always like looking at what's the fall off. This is the reach 9602, and this is the unique outbound clicks. So that's 1,000. So there's a big fall off there of about 8,000 people. So you'll get a fall off at every section. Remember, we're talking about a funnel, right? Remember what a funnel looks like? So you've got a big lots coming in here, and then it's funneling down. And the trick is to get lots coming in up here so that it can funnel down. And at the bottom, you've got your sales. But you're not going to get good numbers of sales if you don't have big numbers of people coming in right up here at the top. So it's a numbers game. Impressions reach, I usually like to look at over the course of about a month. I'm usually liking to look at something like 500,000 impressions because I need that sort of flow coming down through. Then, there's various, so this is, a unique click, percentage of people that saw your ads and performed a link click. That's a really high number. So it's telling me that the copy, creative, and headline I used was resonating, was making people stop. So the first trick is making them see you. The second trick is making them stop in the scroll. The third thing we want them to do is click on the link click. We don't necessarily want them to click onto the creative, but we want them to click on the link click. We also do want to measure, I don't know whether I'm measuring in this, I might be. We also want them to look at video. I'll show you that in a minute. And what? So unique link click rate, click-through rate was 10.31%. That's pretty high. That on all of this, I'm going, yeah, good, 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 good. Right. Unique outbound click-through rate. Why is it not hovering and not showing? And if I had lots of ones down here, and I wanted to look at best to worst or worst to best, then I can just toggle that. But there's only one here. So that's again, this wasn't coming up with the other. I don't know why it's not coming up with the hill. Anyway, and what did that cost? 13 cents. Right. Now, can you see the problem? There are no add to carts. Therefore, there are no checkouts initiated. Therefore, there are no ads of payment information. Therefore, there are no purchases. Right. I found my roadblock. This is the roadblock. So I got them across to the landing page, 900 and something or other, I said. 933. And then it died. And so I actually went into the Shopify store and started to really change it around. I changed around the homepage. All of this was just going to the homepage. And basically all I was trying to do in this particular account between the 1st of December and when it shut down with lack of ads, lack of money sitting behind it, what I was really wanting to do was build an audience behind the back of Facebook, getting Facebook to know who are the target clients. And I was targeting US and Canada, Australia and New Zealand. And I was also testing various, traffic versus, I can't remember which ones I was testing now. Traffic to US, Canada, traffic in video views to US, Canada, traffic in images to US, Canada, traffic in video views and images to Australia. There's a list of like 20 of them. But it also told me that there was a problem on the website. So was that problem on, so then I'm sitting here going, okay, so what was the problem on the website? Was it a disconnect because they clicked on the ad? And I'll show you the ads because I'll show you what I mean. So we'll just show you this video. Don't think there should be sound. So as you can see, the video is cute. It is clickbaity. What I was aiming to do was get anybody that thought that was, a dog throwing a toy was cute. And I did. I got that. But But did I actually get sales out of it? The answer is no. So there was a disconnect. People clicked on the link, and the link was this. And see, I had 3 primary texts, 3 headlines, learn more, going to the website, which was petcaremagic.com, which was the preview, which was the homepage. So I got a lot of people. I drove awareness to the website. I built audiences behind the scenes. Hopefully, they are people that are interested in dogs and cats. I also did a video that was, so this was a cat video. And this was a dog and cat video. So you can see it's sort of similar. It's all the same. I used exactly the same copy, exactly the same headlines, exactly the same call to action. And the sort of bit around the edges was the same. The branding and colors were the same. It was all going across to the same website, but the videos were changing. So what you can do once you've done that, well, let's then go back to, remember we were at campaign level when we were looking at it before. These were the numbers. Now we're drilling down to the ads. So it's going to tell me out of those 3, out of the video 1, 2, and 3, which video got the most impressions and reach. And as you can see, this cat one, this is a standout, absolute standout. Look at the numbers on that. It's out of that 933, the bulk of the people have been stopped by that video. Yes, I've got a problem with them buying. I'm not worried about that. At this stage, I'm still back at what makes them stop in the feed, because if we don't make them stop in the feed and look, we're never ever going to get a purchase. So that's the aim of what this was doing. At 14,000 impressions, 8,000, nearly 9,000 reach, 780 got to the landing page, at a good cost. At an amount spent was not too bad. Cost per click was pretty good. Click-through rate, here we come with the really fun games of working out what these numbers mean. I got more people going across to the landing page with this video, but I got a higher click-through rate with this video 1. So which one would I use? Would I use the one that gives me a higher click-through rate, or would I use the one that got me higher impressions? This is where you start to go down a rabbit hole with these sort of campaigns. Post engagement was pretty high. What I end up doing, and I think I've got it open, or do I? So I'll come back to that in a minute. I'll just finish what we were doing here. So as you can see, that again, same ads for carts. I knew there was nothing going on there. So if you just look at the campaigns, it had been I can also do it by had delivery within that time period, or I can do it. These search things are something you use quite a lot after a while, because when you've got a lot of data going on. So that one, theoretically is still active. That one, and that one. The same period, December 1st to January 20. So remember when we did the setup last week? Here I'm doing, these are the ones that I did as of, I think it was Christmas Day. I changed all these. Yeah, December 25th. What does an ad buyer do on Christmas Day? They play around with meta ads. So I had traffic, video views, Australia, New Zealand to the landing page. Traffic, video views, US and Canada to the landing page. Traffic, full carousel to US and Canada with an instant experience ad to a landing page, and the same across to Australia and New Zealand. If I was really good, I would actually have these named in a way in which I could see them in the order I want them. And then I did a full carousel. So as you can see, I was testing all sorts of different traffic. Using the traffic objective, I was testing all sorts of different ad setups. So I'm down at about the 3rd level of testing in this. And what I can do is I can say, so let's just take Australia, New Zealand. Australia, New Zealand, Australia, New Zealand. So one type of ad to Australia, New Zealand, a different type of ad to Australia, New Zealand, and a 3rd type of ad. Now we're going to go filter by selection. Now we're going to be able to look at like with like. Same audience, Australia, New Zealand, same objective, traffic, 3 different ad types. So we're back to the same thing. What's my, which one performed best? This one. This one outperformed well on reach and impressions. So an instant experience ad with a carousel. I'll show you that ad. Thinking, 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 thinking. So there's the video. Video has no sound. I should have done these videos with sound. This is what I mean by carousel. I actually ran quite a lot of things together on a video. So we're down to back to these ones. So which one of these, again, we still remember we're testing, which one of these is the way I should go forward? You know, which one's going to give me a really good result? Well, that setup gave me a really good result. How do I know? Because I'm looking at the numbers. These first 2 numbers, impressions and reach, were pretty good. But then I always want to compare all of the metrics, not one metric. Don't fall into the trap of only looking at impressions. You want it because you'll see sometimes the impressions and reach will be really good, but you know your landing page views will be better on another, even though the reach and impressions weren't so good. So what is the aim? The aim, obviously, is for them to stop in the feed, look at the ad, click on the link, and go across to the landing page. If I don't get them across to the landing page, then it doesn't matter whether they've seen it as an impression or a reach or even clicked on anything. So always keep in the back of your mind, what is it I'm trying to achieve here? So in this case, reach, impressions, and landing page views, you know, they're all pretty good. So far I'm getting tick, tick, tick. At a cost, which is pretty good. In fact, the cost was better than the cost of anything else. The amount spent would have been about, and the amount spent was about the same. So all my numbers are really good because the amount spent was the same, but I'm getting better results. At the cost per click, which is good, at a click-through rate. So the click-through rate here was better, but I wasn't getting as many people to the landing page. So this is where you start to sort of, I always sort of think about a balance, like a balance weights when I'm sort of thinking about this sort of stuff. So I'm running through all of these and looking at posts and looking, so everything's then I'm running sort of further down the bottom of it. For some reason I am not running. Normally I would think I would be running video engagement on these as well. Yeah. So generally when I've got 3 videos like this, I want to look at the video because they can click. I want to know when they clicked off the video. Did they click off the video after 10 seconds or at 10% or 25% or 50% or 75%? Obviously, I want them trying to see more of the video. And you always see this. You always see a fall off. You always see a fall off from 25%. Just this weird nature of people nowadays is they won't look at anything right to the end. That sort of annoys me a bit because you've got to be really careful when you're setting up your videos. This is also why we say do not do videos that are too long, because the longer your video is, the less chance you've got of people seeing most of it. So if everything really important is at the very end and it's a 2-minute video, then your chances of them seeing the last 30 seconds are pretty low, pretty low. Something else. So that was sort of like granular data from 1st of December to January 20th. What I also want to show you is what happens when we take that data. Let's stop sharing, present, share screen. I now want to share this one. So within the data that is happening at that level of date, date A to date B, that's great. But what you also want to see with the numbers on Meta is you want to look at them on a day-to-day basis, because you want to see trends. Looking at just the day-to-day numbers, this is on a different client. So this is client data, not that Pet Care Magic we were just looking at. So you want to look at Shopify. And as remember, I said you want to put Shopify data against Facebook data. So you want to see what does Facebook give the conversion, the dollar conversion rate at versus what Shopify is actually giving it to you for the day. So what you want to do is you want to look at raw data for, I wasn't tracking, I just realized I haven't been tracking, I've only been tracking data on Facebook for this particular account. I'm only tracking data on Facebook because at a monthly level. But normally I would do it on a daily level as well for the Facebook, and see it's not actually here. So you're wanting to see trends. Now, whether you do this or whether you get a VA or something to do it, it's grabbing the data off Facebook and then looking at the amount spent and what are the click numbers. This will tell you the trend. What's going up, what's going down, what's not changing, what is changing. And you'll see here, I've often mentioned like the quarters within the year. Quarter 1, first 3 months. Quarter 2, next 3 months. Quarter 3, next 3 months. Quarter 4, last 3 months of the year. And then we also have this funny Quarter 5 we talk about now, which is the period between Christmas Day and New Year's Day. What are the trends? What is this account doing? Because you want to know outliers. You want to know if you change something massively. Here's my favorite word again, strategy. If you change something massive in the strategy of the account, then what has it meant in terms of cost per purchase, cost per click, and cost per add to cart, cost of landing page views, numbers of landing page views, etc., etc. This particular account, what it did by tracking the Facebook data, also allowed us to identify that this particular account had an add to cart problem. Driving good numbers, we were driving good numbers across to website content views, which is this one. So let's take December, 6,000 across to website content views, but only 1/3 of them were actually adding to cart. So that identified the roadblock within this account. The roadblock in this account was we were driving good numbers across to the Shopify site, but they weren't added to cart. So what it caused me to do was go back into the Shopify site and have a really deep, hard look at the add to cart process. That became the bottleneck. And then we identified things like shipping issues. So that's what the metrics do. The metrics allow you to really see trends. The interesting trend is to also graph amount spent. So December, the amount spent was 8,152, but as you can see, that got nearly as good an impression as the month before, when the amount spent was much higher. It was 9,000. So you can track changes. You can also see by tracking these numbers, you can also see when a Facebook or Meta ad account is going off, whether that's creative fatigue, whether that's audience fatigue, whether they've just seen the same thing over and over and over and over again. You can see, you know, what's happening, and you'll only see that by tracking. I don't think I've actually done it on this account, but I will often actually do graphs. No, I haven't. And it allows you then to track. So if you're tracking the same number of, if you're tracking the same numbers or roughly the same numbers of Facebook, you can then see what is the, you know, what is Shopify telling you, and you can then track, you can then compare the numbers Facebook are telling you off the numbers Shopify are telling you. And we do know that Facebook underreports in conversions across to Shopify roughly around about 30%. So around about 30% more people Shopify logs as having reached the Shopify, and it's a bit hard to then compare apples with apples then, or oranges with oranges, because in this particular case, this particular client had Google ads running and Pinterest ads running and Meta ads running, so it's often a little hard, but you can use the Shopify data. And again, I'm not going into that today because we're going down another rabbit hole. What else do I need to tell you? Okay. So here's just an example of how I do a lot of graphing. This is particular graphing on just the Shopify data, but graphs will show you trends. I can pick up trends by looking at the numbers because my eye's good at that. And I often train the, I've got a VA doing this sort of pulling data off Facebook. I can often, you know, they can pick up sort of but you know, the last 3 months we've had you know, an add to cart number of 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, and all of a sudden we've got an add to cart number of 100. So they can usually flag that within these, this is at Google Sheets. They can usually flag that and say, so what, you know, this is what you need to know. Or conversely, we've had add to cart numbers of, you know, 200, 200, 200, 200, 200 across a daily basis for most of the month, and all of a sudden it's died down, you know, it's become 2. So was there a problem? Is there a technical problem going on? Is the Facebook data not reporting properly? Because that can happen. We can all occasionally have glitches in the Facebook data. Just want to go back to not this one. I want to go back to this one. I'm just going to give you a taste of this. It really doesn't want to pick up this share for some reason, probably because it's on a different Google ad account. I am selecting the ad account to preview, people. Right, got it. Did I get it? No, I didn't. Can't go back to there, so I'll do it another day. Because what I was going to show you was the, not only within Facebook, let's just see if this will allow me to go to Facebook. No, it won't. Because I'm not signed in. I'm not signed in on that Google account. Typical. I'll do it another day, actually. So just to summarize, what do all these numbers mean? They mean what story they're telling us. There's a lot of comment around now about, you know, chat AI and artificial intelligence and all that, and they're saying, you know, we're no longer going to need Facebook ad buyers. We're no longer going to need people who can set up things. Absolutely, we probably are not. But it's very hard for a piece of software to put the human bit into what does that number mean, and what number do you want to look at? And there are plenty of pieces of software out there. There's Supermetrics, there's Google Data Studio, there's Wicked Reports. There's a mountain of different pieces of software out there that take this raw data from Facebook, from Meta, and put it in and give you all sorts of pretty graphs. We love them for producing pretty reports for clients. But at the end of the day, most Facebook ad buyers are back in the Facebook ad account raw data, and they've got various things set up in terms of how they're pulling off the raw data, how they're not pulling off the raw data, and then they'll sit there for hours just staring at it, jumping between various campaigns like you saw me do, and comparing this with this, and then if you do this and you compare with that, and coming up with what is the story the data's going to tell you. So that's a lot to digest. This is obviously live right now, but it's also going on to YouTube, and it will go on to Facebook as a recording. Please like, comment, subscribe to the channel. I'd love it if you do that, so that you're going to know when these are coming up, and you're going to be able to look at them at your leisure. And I would love it for you to comment and say, I really understood all that, or you're so way above my head, I don't know what you're talking about. Comments are good and bad. I don't mind either, so feel free to do either. I haven't quite decided what the next one will be. We're still going to go down the rabbit hole of Meta for a little bit, but I need to give some thought. So thanks for spending some time with me today. As I said, please comment and say this is all a load of trash and I never want to see it again. That'll be fine. Or if you're liking what you're seeing, or you're seeing some bits and you're getting stuck on some bits, ask me. I'm happy to go into the comments at the end of it and say to you, this is what I meant when I said that. And of course, come across to harimaart.com. Always happy to do audits for people on their Meta work and audits on their marketing. So have a great weekend, everybody. It is Friday here in Australia, and at 1 o'clock, I'm not far off my first nice beer for the weekend. Have a lovely weekend, and catch you next time.